Hello everyone, I am so excited to be here with you today because we all share a common interest, the sound spelling wall. If you do not know me, my name is Kate Davis. I am an ELA Title I instructional coach. I hope that you have received your sound spelling walls. The information from this training should prepare you to begin using this valuable tool with your students. Our time together will be all things sound spelling walls. We'll talk about what exactly a sound spelling wall is, why we should use sound spelling walls instead of word walls with primary students, sound spelling wall setup and effective teacher delivery, and also what's included in your kit. If you've attended an Orton Gillingham training or kept up with the current research, you know exactly what a sound spelling wall is. This year, one goal is to infuse a multimodal, multisensory approach, such as those found in OG, to infuse it into our Benchmark Advanced curriculum while making a strong connection to the 7 Mighty Moves. All of the strategies and tools that we will be using will help create proficient readers because these strategies and tools are backed by the science of reading. So what is a sound spelling wall? It's a visual tool that depicts the articulation of individual sounds in words and the spelling patterns that represent those sounds. You're probably familiar, again, with the term sound wall. In 7 Mighty Moves, Lindsay Kemeny refers to it as a sound spelling wall. She explains that using the term sound spelling wall helps her students remember the primary purpose of the wall, and that is to connect the phonemes, the sounds, to the graphemes, the letters. When looking at Scarborough's rope, a sound spelling wall fits within the word recognition section. Sound spelling walls help to reinforce the importance of phonemic awareness, as we all know, an essential skill for successful reading. Based on the science of reading, sound spelling walls help educators reinforce the importance of explicitly teaching the skills of letter-sound correspondence. A sound spelling wall supports students by focusing on that articulation of phonemes and the various letter patterns that represent those phonemes. This is important because when we hear language, we hear words as whole units. The phonemes in words are co-articulated. We don't speak in phonemes. Speaking is natural, and it's something we can learn to do by being immersed in language. However, reading is not natural. We need to explicitly teach students to hear the individual phonemes in the words they hear in language. We also need to assist them in producing the individual phonemes in words. Helping students recognize the way their mouth feels and the way it looks when producing those sounds will help them make that connection of speech to print. A sound spelling wall is a helpful tool for teaching students the 44 phonemes of the English language. It's made up of 2 parts, a consonant chart and a vowel valley. By providing visual representations of the relationship between speech and print, sound spelling walls help students to see the connection between the two. The consonant chart groups the consonant phonemes based on the place of articulation and the manner of articulation. The place of articulation refers to where the sound is occurring in our mouth. When we make the sound p, it's produced in the front of the mouth. The manner of articulation refers to what is happening with our lips, teeth, and tongue, and also airflow as we produce the sound. When you produce the p sound, your lips are tightly together and your teeth do not touch your lips. The vowel valley is a representation of the different ways the vowel sounds can be pronounced. The author of the 7 Mighty Moves explains that one reason the English language is so complex is that it has 18 vowel phonemes with multiple ways to spell them. Unlike consonant phonemes, there is no obstruction from the lips, teeth, and/or tongue when we produce the vowel phonemes. So vowels are all voiced. I bet you're thinking of this question. Why a sound spelling wall instead of a word wall for primary students? Well, I think I have an answer. Sound spelling walls primarily focus on phonemic awareness, letter sound relationships, and phonics instruction, whereas word walls center around vocabulary expansion, writing support, and word relationships. Both tools do serve as valuable aids in the classroom to enhance language and literacy skills. But when we're thinking about a word wall, it is driven by the teacher's point of view. As teachers, we know and understand all the different spellings of sounds, and so we place the words under one of the 26 letters of the alphabet that a word begins with because we can locate the words that way. This isn't the case for some students. Think about these three words under the letter C. Cat, city, chat. I'll start with different phonemes, even though they all begin with the letter C. That could get really confusing for our kiddos. Working with word walls is print to speech. We find the print, the letter, and then we match the sound. Our language is speech to print. We hear speech sounds before we learn to match the sounds to a particular letter or letter pattern. A sound spelling wall does the work of matching our articulation of phonemes to the graphemes that are represented with the sounds. Again, the English language has 44 speech phonemes, 26 letters to represent those phonemes, and over 200 different ways to spell those sounds. When we think about the way our learners perceive the words they hear in speech, a sound spelling wall makes sense. Now let's talk about the sound spelling wall setup. The arrangement of the vowel phonemes on the chart are frequently referred to as vowel valley, credited to the great Louisa Moats. The vowel valley is in the shape of V to mimic the chin placement from high on the left to drop low in the middle and then high again on the right. When we articulate the sounds on the left side of the valley, our mouths tend to widen into small and large smiles. Additionally, when we go down the left slope, our chin drops lower and lower as we produce the sounds. When we produce the vowels on the right side of the valley, our mouths make more rounded shapes. As we go up the right slope, our chin lifts and our lips gradually close. Don't worry, we're going to take a deeper dive into this idea on the next few slides. Diphthongs are included on the left side of the vowel valley. A diphthong is a union of two vowels within one syllable in which the vowel positions glide from one to another. The diphthongs on the vowel valley chart are oi and ow. On the right lower side, you'll see the R-controlled vowels. R-controlled vowels are where the R alters the vowel sound. These are R, and or. Schwa in the middle is the most common vowel sound in the English language, and it can be represented by any vowel. Sometimes it's called the lazy vowel because the sound production is usually softer and weaker. And it's always on the unstressed syllable in words. When we explicitly teach schwa in words, we can have students identify the stressed and unstressed syllables. Also, while we're speaking of that lazy vowel schwa, I want to remind teachers to not add schwa to a phoneme. Say p instead of p, and say k instead of k. Nobody flies a kite, and nobody wants a piece of pie, right? The video that you see at the bottom of this slide can be accessed with a QR code in your 7 Mighty Moves book, and that's page 18. It will show Lindsay Kemeny, the author of the book, explain the arrangement of sounds within vowel valley. It's a quick look into the vowel valley, so we're going to do a deep review. Fun fact, all vowel sounds are open sounds and voiced. The front vowels, which are referred to as the smiling vowels, are located on the left side of vowel valley. The frontmost vowel sound, E, is produced with the lips pulled back in a big smile and the tongue high in the mouth. From this position, the chin slightly drops as the mouth opens, and the tongue drops slightly with each vowel sound until we reach the open vowel, ah. When you reach the bottom of the valley, the mouth is open, very rounded. This is the short O sound production. We call this the open vowel sound. Then you move back up the vowel valley as our mouths round more and more until we reach the top. You can feel the shape of your mouth tighten as you move to the U sound. Remember that the focus of vowel valley is all about sound production. So let's take a trip down the valley and back up. You can place your hand under your chin to feel the chin drop as you say each vowel sound. When we go on our trip, notice your smile lessening as we move down the valley. Notice the shift in your tongue and the amount of openness as your chin drops. If you have a mirror close by, use it and watch how your mouth opens as you produce the sounds. All right, let's go on our trip. Start at the top left. Ready? E, I, A, E, A, I, Ah. All right, now up the right side. Ready? Ah, ah, O, U, U. So fun, right? The consonant chart is a tool that is used to identify the consonant phonemes. There are a total of 25 consonant phonemes, which are produced when the airflow from the lungs is obstructed by the lips, teeth, or tongue. The obstruction causes the consonants to be considered closed sounds. So remember, vowel sounds are open sounds and voiced. Consonant sounds are closed sounds. The consonants are divided into 6 different groups according to the place of articulation and the manner of articulation. Place of articulation is where the sound comes from, the front, middle, or the back of the mouth. The manner of articulation is how the tongue, lips, and teeth are working to direct the sound through the throat and nose. Before we talk about the 6 consonant groups, let me explain voiced and unvoiced. All consonant sounds are either voiced or unvoiced. Voiced sounds are produced with our vocal cords engaged. These sounds make our vocal cords vibrate when they are produced. Put your fingers on your throat when you say the sound for L. L. Do you feel the vibration? Unvoiced sounds do not need vocal cords when they are produced, so no vibration. Put your fingers on your throat when you say the sound for K. K. No vibration. Now here are the 6 consonant groups. Stop sounds. These sounds are produced when we stop a flow of air from our mouth and then let it out in one short puff. If you put your palm in front of your mouth, you can feel the burst of air as you say the sound. Let's say the stop sounds together. Put your palm in front of your mouth. Ready? P, B, T, D, K, G. Nasal sounds are fun to demonstrate to students. Say the sound for M. Now plug your nose and say the sound for M. You can't make the sound. That's because the air flows through our nose when we produce these sounds. You can also say the sounds while touching the sides of your nostrils and feeling them vibrate. Let's say the sounds as you touch the sides of your nostrils. Ready? Ng. The next group are fricatives. When you hear the word fricative, think of the word friction. The tongue, lips, or teeth obstruct air as it flows out. You will feel friction as the air is pushed out of the small space created by a part of the mouth that is blocked, while also feeling that vibration on your lips. These are continuous sounds, meaning you can produce these sounds for as long as you have the breath. The voiced fricatives are v, v, z, zh. The unvoiced fricatives are f, th, s, sh, h. Affricates are a combination of stops and fricatives. As you produce these sounds, you stop the air before releasing it. Think of a game of tug of war. The sound is pushing through a small space, then suddenly letting go, like a stop. The affricates are ch and j. Glide sounds are always followed by a vowel phoneme, and the sound literally glides right into the vowel. These sounds are w, w, and yi. Liquids, the last group, these sounds seem to float in your mouth. They are l and r. You can review all the consonant phonemes, the manner of articulation, the place of articulation in Mighty Move 1 on pages 15 through 18. Now I will talk about sound spelling wall teacher delivery. Louisa Moats explains that it's not the display that's important. It's calling students' attention to the speech sounds of the language that's important. Your sound spelling wall is a functional display, and it should be referred to daily. When referring to your sound spelling wall, only review the sounds that have been previously taught. Make sure to cover the graphemes with sticky notes or some type of covering until you have explicitly taught them. Jacqueline Romani, a kindergarten teacher at Apollo Elementary, has used her sound spelling wall in her classroom, and she locks the sounds that have not been taught yet by putting a picture of a lock over the sounds. When they are ready to learn the sound, they unlock the sound. So cool, Jacqueline. Included in your kit are 135 spelling cards. Make sure to keep your sound spelling wall current based on the scope and sequence and the needs of your students. As sounds and spelling patterns are taught, they can be added. It's recommended to add words as they have been explicitly taught. Articulation mirrors can help students improve their sound articulation when used with a sound spelling wall in the classroom. When introducing new sounds, you can give students mirrors to help them see how their mouths form when they make the sounds. Students can compare the shape of their mouths to the mouth images on the sound spelling wall. You can also use mirrors to review sounds or discuss errors. Students can focus on what their lips, teeth, and tongue are doing while they are producing the phonemes. When can and when should a teacher reference the sound spelling wall? In kindergarten and first grade, during the sound intro and benchmark advance on day 1 would be a perfect time. Also before phonemic awareness, during interactive writing, during small group instruction, during intervention. Students can also refer to the sound spelling wall during independent work as they write to provide spelling support. Also, it can be used during a one-on-one conference. Really, you can refer to your sound spelling wall anytime. It's so important to continuously make connections of phonemes to graphemes. Always model when using the sound spelling wall in a think aloud, and I'm going to do that for you right now. I will model for you how you can use your sound spelling wall for instruction. The language that I'm going to use in my model can be found on the back of the sound cards in the Benchmark Advanced curriculum. This model can happen every single week in kindergarten and first grade in whole group instruction during day 1. My model is a kindergarten classroom. We are in Unit 3, Week 3, and I am introducing the sound P. In the kindergarten scope and sequence, the following sounds have already been explicitly taught. Short A, S, T, N, F. Today we're going to talk about the sound P. Can you say the sound with me? P. Let's get our mirrors out and see what our mouth is doing when we say the sound. Say P. What are your lips doing when you say this sound? Your lips are tightly together, but your teeth do not touch them. You then build up air pressure behind your lips. You quickly release your lips, allowing the air to puff out and make the sound. Notice how we stop the flow of air from our mouth and then let out a short puff. Watch. P. The sound P is made at the front of our mouth. Let's practice while we're looking in our mirrors. Take out your articulation mirrors. Let's practice. Ready? P. P. Great job. I'm going to say some words. If you hear the P sound in these words, show me thumbs up. If you do not hear the P sound, show me thumbs down. Ready? Pop, fish, tap, fin, book, pot. Great job. Let's find the sound on our sound spelling wall. Can you find the mouth picture for the sound P? There it is. Let's find out what letter says the sound. It looks like it's the letter P. We will learn more about this letter and this sound today. So what is in your sound spelling wall kit? You'll have 44 sound wall cards with real mouth pictures, 135 spelling cards, which remember, you may not use all these spelling cards, and that's okay. 30 student charts of both vowel valley and the consonant chart. I've seen some teachers affix these to a file folder for easy reference. Also, I've seen some teachers put the vowel valley and the consonant chart back to back in a plastic sleeve. You also have 150 picture grapheme cards. And last, you have a sound spelling wall guide QR code. It's on a tiny card. You can access the sound spelling wall guide by scanning the QR code. I feel like this quote from Louisa Moats can help bring our end of our time together. Before children can learn phoneme-grapheme mapping for phonics and spelling, they need to be aware of the phonemes to which the symbols correspond. I hope that you feel more prepared to use your sound spelling wall with your students. If you have any questions that refer to the sound spelling wall, please email me. I would love to help out as much as I can. Thank you so much for your time.